Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. And we're in front of First NBC Ballpark here at the University of New Orleans, where the UNO Privateers open their baseball season 2016 style this weekend here and across the street at the Urban Youth Academy in Wesley Barrows Stadium. And Blake Dean takes over for Ron Maestri.
Yeah, first year for Blake, first year to get a chance to run a program. The former LSU All-American will get that opportunity, and the nation will get a chance to see just what the Privateers have to offer. Saturday night's game is part of this weekend Urban Youth Academy season opening tournament will be on the MLB Network. So we'll get to see quickly just what the Privateers are all about, and what kind of energy that Blake Dean invokes into this program.
Tulane opens under David Pierce, and Tulane, a tournament team last year, figures to be even better this year, maybe as close as they were in the heyday of Rick Jones as they have been since then. It's a good baseball team.
It is, and could be as good as perhaps a regional host. Could be, certainly should be in the running to be a tournament team. Some people have them in the top 25. Some people have them right on the fringe looking out. The first season projections in terms of a field of 64 put out on Thursday by D1Baseball.com have Tulane as a 2 seed, so that should give you an idea about where they stack up in things as we start in the season. And there's a lot of returning parts there that help kind of breed that confidence going into this 2016 season.
Southeastern Louisiana has established itself as a postseason team on a consistent basis with a very good, consistent program.
They have, and they are also projected in that field to 64, along with LSU and UL Lafayette, 4 Louisiana teams in that first projection of the year. Southeastern has got to get themselves in a position to where their resume will carry them for an at-large bid. They were right on the edge last year. If you had to point to one thing, it was those 2 last-inning losses to Tulane that perhaps swung the pendulum Tulane's way and away from Southeastern, because those resumes between those 2 schools were very close. And if you had to look at that one thing, it was the fact that Tulane won those 2 games late over the Lions, and that may have swung it Tulane's way.
And then, of course, there's Louisiana Lafayette, and a program that is among the top 10 in the country in some polls right now, and rightfully so. They've been that type of program the last 2 years, and it looks like it continues this year.
Yeah, super regional team last year. Could be that kind of team again this year. Who knows? The Cajuns went to Omaha in 2000. Could Tony Robichaux 16 years later make another trip back there with the Cajuns this year? Certainly that kind of team, again, a team with a lot of returning parts, much like Tulane.
Yeah, lost to LSU and Ole Miss respectively the last 2 years. Coming close, this could be the breakthrough year. And as for LSU, business as usual, but it's a different look. Last year, a great hitting team. This year, not much hitting in terms of what they've got coming back, but the pitching looks really good. Poche and Lang at the top end, Stallings at the end, and a lot of good arms in between.
Yeah, a lot of transfers coming in to help kind of bridge some of those gaps. And, again, when you've got Poche and Lang at the front end of your rotation, whichever way you put them out there, whether it's lefty first and righty second or vice versa, it doesn't matter. That is a strong way to start your weekend. And I got to believe there's going to be a lot of weekends this year where LSU is going to get to Sunday already having won the series.
College basketball, bad loss for LSU. No other way to sugarcoat it. Can't lose at home to Alabama, a team you're better than and that you beat at this stage of the season with so much on the line.
It's true, but Alabama, give them credit, under New Orleans native Avery Johnson now in his first year, is playing a lot better than when LSU saw them the first time a few weeks ago. They are suddenly right on the bubble, maybe on the good side of the bubble for the NCAA tournament. LSU still sitting there squarely on the bubble. The best part of their resume is their conference record. The thing that's really going to work against them is that overall body of work with some of those bad non-conference losses early in the year.
Yeah, kudos to Avery Johnson for the job that he's done, obviously. The Pelicans, of course, are back in action Friday night. First game following the All-Star break against the 76ers. Trade deadline arriving on Thursday, and obviously this is a team that faces a steep uphill climb.
It is, and here's all you got to know. Sitting where they are right now, they've got to go 21-8 after the All-Star break just to get to 500. And it's probably going to take a 500 record to get that 8th spot in the West if you still aspire to do that. Let's see here on trade deadline day if the Pelicans kind of shuffle the deck a little bit with anything and try and re-energize some things. Obviously, it's going to be a rested team having not played in 8 days, but you know what? So is everybody else. Everybody got the same break.
News surrounding the New Orleans Saints involving Cam Jordan.
And he gets his contract adjusted a little bit, helps relieve some salary cap space, easy for you to say. In terms of that, the Saints were still about $2 million under or over the cap, I should say, when the week began. This will help that a little bit. There was some news earlier in the week that perhaps the cap number was going to be a little bit higher than everyone thought. But again, the Saints, as we've seen in past years, even when they were right up against the number, managed to make some moves to free themselves some space to go make a splash in free agency. Who knows what will happen? March 9th is the magic date. That's the start of the league year.
And then finally, high school sports and the girls' basketball playoffs underway. Soccer playoffs getting toward the finals next week, and we should have some big news for you about a big soccer match on SportsNOLA.com forthcoming shortly. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, when it comes to wrestling, Brother Martin winning a 5th straight. You can check out video of their state championship celebration at Brother Martin here at SportsNOLA.com. Congratulations to De La Salle as well for their championship in Division III.
Yeah, kudos all around to both of those programs, going about it two different ways. Brother Martin, truly a dynasty, and Robbie Dotrief didn't shy away from the word with you last week. 5 in a row. That's extraordinary in this day and age in any sport.
Lenny, as always, thank you, and thank you, because that is our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com and the Ballpark here at the University of New Orleans. Lenny, have a great weekend.
We'll see you Monday.
You have a great weekend as well. Until next time, thanks for joining us, and God bless you.